Chosen ones, this Tuesday and Wednesday are not just ordinary days on the calendar. Heaven has highlighted them for a reason. God is about to speak peace into places where chaos has lived too long. If you're reading this, it means you're being called into awareness, summoned by the Spirit to pay attention. You were not guided here by coincidence or an algorithm. You were drawn by divine design. This message is not for the crowd, it's for the remnant, for the ones who have been navigating silent storms, spiritual fatigue, and long stretches of unanswered prayers. For those who've been asking, when will the weight lift? This is your signal. God said, Tuesday and Wednesday, I will make everything normal. That's not a soft word, it's a divine correction. Everything that has been broken, off balance, unclear, or out of season is being pulled back into alignment. The mental fog, dissolving, the emotional roller coaster, settling, the spiritual confusion that's been clouding your discernment, cleared. These won't just be peaceful days, they'll be prophetic portals. A sacred moment where heaven breathes into your schedule, realigns your steps and pours out divine rest. But this requires attention. You must be in posture, not panic. Stillness, not striving. Sensitivity, not skepticism. This is not a reset, it's a reformation. Before we go deeper, I want you to act in faith. Like this video and subscribe, not out of routine, but as a prophetic agreement that your spirit is ready to walk in peace. Drop your location and your local time in the comments. I want to see how far God is stretching this moment across the nations. And to those who are sowing into this word through the pin in the comment section or through the Super Thanks feature, thank you. You are not giving to a video. You are sowing into a divine appointment. You are linking arms with heaven and saying, Yes, Lord, I'm ready for the shift. Your support is not overlooked. It is seen, recorded, and multiplied. So prepare your heart, chosen one. These 2 days are heaven's invitation to step into supernatural calm. They are holy interruptions, days where healing flows without pressure, where clarity returns without effort, and where the voice of God silences every lingering storm. Do not approach them casually. Set them apart in your spirit. Make space to receive what cannot be earned, only given. When God says, I will make it normal, He means divine order is descending. And when divine order touches your life, everything changes. Let this be your moment. Let this be your turning point. Don't just hear the word, respond to it. What does it mean when God says normal? Let's begin with the foundation. What is normal? When most people hear the word normal, they think of average, routine, or going back to how life was before trouble came, before the heartbreak, the betrayal, the wilderness season. They imagine normal as stability without struggle. But when God says He's bringing you back to normal, He's not referring to the brokenness you got used to or the patterns you survived. Heaven's definition of normal is not shaped by human expectation. It's rooted in divine intention. God's normal is a return to His order, not ours. It's not a rewind, it's a realignment. According to 1 Corinthians 14:33, God is not the author of confusion but of peace. That means when your life is filled with disorder, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, God doesn't just soothe the chaos. He replaces it with divine clarity. Heaven's normal looks like peace in your home, clarity in your decisions, wisdom in your time, and grace flowing through your daily life. When God steps in and says, I will make it everything normal, He's promising to re-establish His holy blueprint in your life. God's idea of normal also means functioning according to your divine design. Psalm 139:14 declares, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You weren't created to carry fear, anxiety, confusion, or shame. These things may feel normal on earth, but they are not normal in heaven. God's original design for you included peace, purpose, progress, and provision. When He begins to restore you, He removes what was never meant to stay. Fear is not of God. Depression is not of God. Bitterness is not part of your spiritual DNA. Heaven's normal is freedom, not just from sin, but from everything that distorts your identity. When divine normal comes, the weights you've been silently carrying fall off. What seemed permanent becomes powerless in God's presence. This is not just restoration, it's recreation. God isn't fixing what broke, He's reinstating what He originally planned. That is heaven's normal for your life. Why Tuesday and Wednesday? Now let's go deeper. Why would God point to two specific days, Tuesday and Wednesday? Because God is not random. He is a God of appointed times and divine strategy. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven." This means that every breakthrough, every shift, every deliverance has a scheduled moment. God moves in Kairos, windows of divine opportunity, where heaven intersects with earth. These are not just days on the calendar, they are sacred timings. If you miss them through distraction or doubt, you may delay your breakthrough. But if you discern them and prepare for them, you will encounter miracles, realignment, and elevation. When God highlights Tuesday and Wednesday, He is saying, pay attention. I'm doing something specific on these days that carries the power to change your life. Let's start with Tuesday, the third day of the week on the Jewish calendar. In biblical symbolism, the number 3 stands for resurrection, completion, and divine stability. In Genesis 1:9-13, on the third day, God gathered the waters, revealed the dry land, and caused the earth to produce fruit-bearing plants and trees. This was the only day in the creation story where God said, "It was good," twice. That double affirmation marks Tuesday as a day of fruitfulness, visibility, and separation, where confusion is divided from clarity and hidden things are brought into light. When God says, "Watch Tuesday," He is declaring, "I'm about to expose what's been buried beneath the chaos. I'm bringing visibility to the things you couldn't see clearly, and I'm making new life spring up from dry ground." It's a day of divine emergence. Now shift to Wednesday, the fourth day. Genesis 1:14-19 tells us this is when God created the sun, moon, and stars. These weren't just lights, they were instruments of governance, placed to mark seasons, days, and years. Wednesday represents heavenly timing, divine order, and spiritual governance. It is a day where God says, "I'm setting my calendar over your life." He brings light to govern your steps, clarity to define your season, and order to anchor your destiny. Together, Tuesday and Wednesday are back-to-back days of divine realignment. Tuesday clears the confusion, Wednesday establishes the order. Tuesday uncovers what was hidden, Wednesday gives it structure and timing. These 2 days are not coincidence, they are the blueprint of heaven unfolding before your eyes. Don't ignore the signal, respond to it. What has been out of order in your life? Before God can make things normal, He must first confront what has been out of order in your life. He doesn't restore chaos, He replaces it with divine structure. Many of you have been walking through emotional confusion, where your heart swings from hope to despair without warning. One moment you feel strong, the next you're unraveling. This is not weakness, it's spiritual warfare. But it also reveals the urgent need for heavenly stability. Psalm 23:3 says, "He restores my soul." When God steps in to normalize your life, He doesn't just calm your mind, He stabilizes your soul. That means your emotions come into balance. Peace replaces panic. Joy becomes rooted, not reactionary. And the waves that once tossed you around are commanded to be still. This is God restoring you from the inside out, but it doesn't stop there. Many of you are battling financial disorder. You work, but nothing sticks. You give, but the windows of heaven seem shut. That's not your covenant. Deuteronomy 28:12 declares, "The Lord will open the heavens to bless all the work of your hands." When God makes things normal, He realigns your finances with heaven's abundance. Debt is broken, scarcity is reversed. Opportunities that were stolen begin to return. The same is true with time. Some of you have lived under constant delay, too early for one thing, too late for another, always feeling like you missed your moment. But Joel 2:25 promises, "I will restore to you the years. Even the time that was wasted, stolen, or misused will be repaid." God is the Redeemer of time, and when He makes it normal, divine timing governs your steps. And let's not ignore the deeper pain, broken relationships, and spiritual stagnation. Some of you have been hurt in the very places that were supposed to be safe. Your marriage, your family, your friendships. Walls have gone up, conversations have dried out. But Psalm 147, verse 3 promises, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." When God restores normal, He breathes peace into your home and heals emotional fractures that no human could fix. Lastly, there's the ache of a dry spiritual life. Your prayer feels cold. Your worship feels like duty. You've been running on fumes, remembering the fire you once had. But Revelation 3:2 says, "Wake up, strengthen what remains." God is not just restoring your life, He's reviving your spirit. Tuesday and Wednesday are not ordinary days. They are divine appointments for resurrection, alignment, and restoration. This is your moment. Heaven is making it everything normal. Some people may ask, how will I know when this word begins to manifest in my life? It's a fair question, and the answer isn't always about dramatic external changes. Divine restoration doesn't always start with visible miracles. It begins within. The very first sign that God is bringing things back into order is the return of peace. Not necessarily peace in your circumstances, but peace in your soul. You'll notice that panic loses its grip. Anxiety begins to loosen. The noise quiets. Isaiah 26:3 tells us, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you." That inner stillness is the voice of heaven saying, "I've begun the work. Don't rush past it." Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of divine stability. As this peace takes root, you will begin to see the second sign, clarity of vision. When life is out of order, it clouds your dreams. You lose the ability to hope, to plan, to see a future worth fighting for. But when divine normal is being restored, vision returns. You start thinking again, not just surviving, but dreaming. Habakkuk 2:2 commands, "Write the vision and make it plain." You'll find yourself writing again, organizing again, mapping out your purpose with confidence. The fog lifts, and what once felt impossible starts to feel achievable. That clarity is not random, it's restoration. It means your heart is healing, and heaven is giving you new instructions for the next chapter. The third sign is what we call divine appointments. Doors open you didn't knock on. People call you out of nowhere. Conversations happen that connect you to purpose. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Proverbs 16:9 reminds us, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." When God is restoring your life, He begins to arrange encounters that align with your assignment. And finally, you will feel a deep pull back to holiness. Your appetite for sin will weaken. Your desire for consecration will grow. The urge to pray, worship, and seek God will intensify. That's not guilt, it's grace at work. Philippians 2:13 says, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act." Restoration is not just about external blessings, it's about internal transformation. When these signs start to emerge, rejoice. It means heaven has begun to make everything normal. Now that you've received this word, don't let it sit idle in your spirit. Respond. Revelation requires activation. This is not just a message to inspire you, it's an invitation to partner with God in this sacred moment. Step 1 is simple but vital. Prepare your heart. That means eliminating distractions and making space for God to speak. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not inactivity, it is intentional awareness. Quiet your environment and your emotions. Let your heart become a place of expectation. When you remove the noise, you give heaven room to speak clearly. This is how divine alignment begins, not with striving, but with surrender. Next, declare the word over your life every day. Don't just think it, speak it. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Say it aloud. God is making everything normal. Tuesday and Wednesday are my days of divine alignment. I walk in peace, purpose, and provision. These aren't empty affirmations, they are prophetic declarations. Your words are tools of agreement with heaven. Speak them over your mornings. Speak them into your atmosphere. Declare them when doubt whispers and when fear tries to return. Every time you speak, you reinforce what God is establishing. Don't underestimate the authority God has placed in your mouth. Finally, take action by consecrating these days. Even if it's just for a few hours on Tuesday and Wednesday, set them apart. Worship, fast, pray, journal what you hear. Tell heaven, I'm paying attention. This act of consecration is how you show God that you're not just hoping for change, you're positioned for it. And as you walk through the week, stay spiritually alert. God doesn't always move with thunder and lightning. Sometimes he whispers through small signs. Don't dismiss divine activity just because it arrives in quiet packages. Watch for peace, unexpected favor, divine nudges, or sudden clarity. These are the fingerprints of restoration. If you respond to this word with intentional faith, you won't just hear about normal, you'll live in it. Chosen one, this is not a random message. It's a divine invitation into alignment with heaven's timing. You have walked through seasons marked by confusion, delay, and disappointment. You've endured the silence, questioned the path, and carried burdens that felt invisible to others. But now, God is drawing a line in the sand. He is declaring from his throne, enough. The wilderness you've been wandering is coming to a close. The heaviness you've carried is lifting. The fog that clouded your mind is beginning to clear. This is more than encouragement. It's a shift. Heaven is stepping in to restore divine order where chaos once ruled. You are not being left behind. You are being pulled into alignment. God has not left this moment vague or uncertain. He's marked it clearly. Tuesday and Wednesday, I will make it everything normal. These are not just days on a calendar. They are sacred appointments. Days where divine rearrangement begins to take shape in your emotions, your finances, your time, your relationships, and your spirit. When heaven releases a word this specific, it means something is already in motion. Cling to it. Hold it close like a seed. Declare it, meditate on it, and expect it. Heaven is not asking you to figure everything out. It's asking you to believe. Your posture in this moment matters. Faith is your agreement. Expectation is your preparation. So prepare your heart, chosen one. Be still, be ready. Because what's coming is not business as usual. It is supernatural rearrangement. Watch how divine interruptions begin to replace old patterns. Watch how things that were locked begin to open. Watch how sudden peace floods the places where panic used to live. These next few days are not ordinary. They are heaven's schedule unfolding before your eyes. And when God moves, when his order comes, nothing, absolutely nothing, remains the same.